There are a lot of different app builder tools nowadays, from V0 to Lovable to Bolt to even Firebase Studio, but they all share the same weakness: Backend. You can make them build a beautiful UI and show you what a product could be. They'll even spit out great React code in the process. But as soon as you need it to do anything real, so to speak, like adding auth, file uploads, databases, user management, all the things real apps need, they fall apart fast. I was tired of this. I have exited these programs and went and built the backend multiple times myself, and all the fancy integrations these tools have are just not really cutting it once you need to build a real application. I was frustrated enough that I reached out to a company that I've worked with a bit in the past and told them I think they're the ones to come in and fix this piece. They thought about it for a bit, ended up agreeing, and the result is Chef by Convex. And I want to be very clear here. They have sponsored me in the past. They will certainly continue to in the future. I've loved working with Convex. They did not pay me to do this video. They barely even knew I was doing it. I gave them a very brief heads up last night that I was planning on recording this today. They built this because I bullied them into it. And it has cost them a ton of time and probably even more money. I don't want to think about how much this costs to run, knowing how much the inference stuff costs. But the result is genuinely magical. I want to show you guys just how powerful this is. I built this entirely in Chef. It's a Slack clone. New channel, sup nerds, new message, heyo. I'm going to hop over to the database tab where we can see the channels and the messages. So I'm going to select this message, change the content to time for the sponsor break. Saved it, go back, and it changed because everything live updates. Ready for the craziest part though. By far the craziest part here. This was a one shot. This is the whole chat history. Has working auth, working sync, working live chat with one prompt. If I'm not going to be able to make money as a dev anymore, I need to cover the bills with a sponsor quick, so we will be right back. Hey y'all, reporting in from React Miami. I just saw this booth, Agentuity, and realized they actually make a lot of sense to sponsor. Since these guys move fast, they offered to get this out in literally 24 hours. Nuts. And if you want to ship even faster with agents, you should definitely check these guys out. We're talking literally 3 minutes from writing the code to getting it deployed. Think like Vercel or Heroku, but for your AI agents. You can use whatever SDKs you're already using, be it the AI SDK from Vercel or even the Python ones like Crew. And you can have all these agents working together without having to do anything special. No custom infrastructure, no micro front-end crap. You just ship fast at scale. This product is actually really cool. I'm excited to try it out myself when I get home. Check it out today at soydev.link/Agentuity. I knew they could do it because if you're not familiar with Convex, their whole thing used to be the missing half of your React app, which was copy I helped them come up with. I also helped them with the new copy though, the backend for AI apps. The thing that makes Convex great is that it is pretty much everything you need for the server side of your web apps. Everything from auth, file upload, database management, all of the pieces, especially the sync side, it's really good with. Historically, I've been hesitant for a few reasons to go all in on Convex. It's an all-in-one platform, and you guys know me, I love my modular stuff. I was worried about scale, which I shouldn't have been because these guys help build Dropbox. They know what they're doing with scale, and everything scales surprisingly well. I was worried about everything being in one place, in particular the compute running on their stuff. And I was worried that I would need to exit to AWS at some point, but if everything was in one place, not viable. The real reason I never used Convex for major applications is slightly different though. By the time I would meaningfully benefit from what Convex offered me, I'd already built with a different auth library, with a different file upload server, shout out upload thing, with a different database, shout out PlanetScale. And adding Convex felt weird because it would have had to replace those things or work really strangely adjacent to them. And it's not vendor lock-in. It's fully open source. They even have guides on how to self-host it. But it's very much assuming that it controls your backend. And I already controlled my backend, so it didn't necessarily make sense for me. But every time I looked at the code, I would drool. Here is a Convex. Actually, I'll just show you the code for the thing we just did. Let's do that. Hop over to Chef, switch to the code tab. So channels is this. We query as a handler. Args is where you'd put arguments that you'd pass to this function. It gets the auth user ID, and then it returns the channels there. This is just so that if you're not auth, it'll fail. And here we pass a name for create, and the handler, make sure you're auth, and it creates a new channel with that name. Messages is similarly simple. It's a little more complex. You have to query by channel and order them, but it's very simple syntax. But where's the live update code? How does this update? That's part of the magic of Convex is when you make a change to the database, be it from a user triggering the change or even just going into the database tab and editing it yourself, it will update all living dependencies of that change. So if a user queries some data here and that is being used in the UI, if you're using their hooks, like if we hop over here and look at the actual page, let's find the chat. Here we are. Channels is useQuery api.channels.list. If you're in your editor, this command click will work. That's everything you have to do for the live updates. The useQuery hook will create a WebSocket and know when the changes happen. It's really, really good. But again, the catch is you have to build all of the layers from the compute to the database on Convex to benefit from this. So where it made the most sense by far was new projects. The more I thought about it, the more I realized, oh, this is code as config pushed to the furthest level you possibly could. This Convex folder in your code base, this is your whole backend right here. All these files are what define your backend and what define your servers. But it's not a bunch of weird dashboards and things you have to turn on and off like it is in Supabase or Firebase. It's not an absolute chaos of IAM roles and management like it is in AWS. And as great as tools like Terraform are, they were built to patch something wrong with the other cloud hosts. It wasn't from scratch built to be done as a folder in your code base. The magic here is that anyone could take this Convex code base, run on their machine, sign into their Convex account, and the whole backend is provisioned exactly how it needs to be for what they are doing. There are tools that have tried to replicate that level of integration on AWS. None of them come close to cloning a Convex project, running it, clicking the dashboard link, and signing in. It is so cool. And everybody in chat is citing other random things they think it's similar to, and every single one of you is wrong. Ruby on Rails, good luck deploying Rails with live updates in a database without having to spend a lot of time in AWS. Firebase, good luck deploying anything on there without dying. Convex is a database product that has built one of the best infrastructures for TypeScript devs. So if you want to build your stuff in Go or whatever, this isn't for you. But if you're trying to build a great React application and you want a backend built to make React apps as easy as possible to ship at scale, Convex is solid. And I've been wanting to use them more. The problem was that on one side, I had production applications that already had their data models flushed out on other platforms. And on the other side, I was using things like V0 to scaffold and fighting the integrations they came with constantly. I really wanted that other side, the like AI app builder side, to take advantage of what Convex could do because it could generate the whole backend as a folder in the code base. And I could just make changes there and they would apply. Your schema is just a TypeScript file that defines all the things that exist in your app. This is what LLMs are good at, not slogging away through the AWS UI trying to click the right button. It's good at this. While they were working on this, another product came out, and I don't even know if I'm going to bother publishing my video on it. I'm 50-50. Firebase Studio happened. I really thought Firebase Studio would be similar here. I mean, it's stunning. It has such, like so many subtle animations and things in it are beautiful. I could not make this generate a working app. I could not make this do anything involving the server side at all. It was rough. And that sucks because I have a pending sponsor deal with them. And I need to figure out what that will look like because I want to make this usable if I'm going to shill it to you guys. If I'm going to introduce Firebase Studio to my audience, I want to make sure it's actually bringing them value. And right now, it is the hardest recommendation of all of the AI app builders, even though it's stunning. You can see here, I tried 4 separate times to make a party planner app. I'm going to grab my prompt from here quick so I can reuse it because I want to show you guys the gap here. Once this eventually goes, yeah, I feel bad even publishing the video on Firebase Studio because it was a rough time. And half the video is saying, there's another tool that does this well that I can't talk about yet. Obviously, that was Convex. Okay, obviously the video is cut, but I've been waiting here for a good 3 or 4 minutes, and it's still just trying to unarchive. Beautiful. My ad block is off because I turned it off because I was so sure that was why this is just not working. Are you kidding? Okay, we're finally in after all of that. I'm going to copy paste this prompt over to Chef. We're going to do a new project. I'm actually going to delete things from here because I put a lot of stuff in there to try and force it to work when I was doing it with Firebase. I'm just going to delete all these. Don't leave things as to do implement. Don't cut corners. I'm expecting a complete functioning prototype. I'm just going to delete all of that. Send. And here we go. It just created the tables. It starts with the schema because this is used throughout everything else. We have events, invitations. It also dumped the auth tables in because you can import the auth tables straight from Convex. Now it's creating events. Now it's updating the app TSX, creating the event form. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's the fastest thing, but it is not too slow either. It was a lot slower when I first tried it. They've made some meaningful progress in the speed here for sure. Oh no, it failed to push to Convex. I have noticed this. It will have random fails, and it's pretty good about fixing them. And there we go. What was that? Like 3 minutes? It took less time to build this than it took for Firebase Studio to even open. I think they hardcode this, but it's so nice to have a normal sign-in to create an account with, or the sign in anonymously button during dev. So nice, so that in the browser, I can test it quick without having to do the whole back and forth. I literally spent like 30 plus minutes with all the other tools just trying to build an auth flow to sign in with, and it didn't work at all. Here, I just click the button. Now it works. And obviously, if I was to go publish this, it would work too. Don't forget to subscribe. Everyone's favorite event. By the way, I make these videos for free. I'm doing my best to give you all of this useful information. If you like it, consider hitting the sub button. You'll be surprised how few people do. So many people don't even remember to hit sub. And we'll set the date for this to, I don't know, a totally inconspicuous date. Theo's channel. Cool. So we're creating this new event. Oh, I forgot to put a time. Create. And now we have this event. It immediately updated and appeared in the UI. We have an invite friends where I can invite via email, accept, decline. It all just worked. And again, the magic of Convex is I can hop in here, go into events, check this, change some of the info here. So change the location from Theo's channel to, I don't know, Miami. That's where I'm going tomorrow. And we go back to the UI, it's instantly changed. It's so cool. Not just for me as like a senior developer that knows how hard it is to build these things. I think it's even cooler for people who aren't as experienced because it's kind of unintuitive as a non-dev that you could go into the database, make a change, go back to the UI, and the UI is still in the state it was in. The fact that there is no split brain here, there is no way that your UI is in a state that is different from the database, significantly reduces a bunch of complexity that we're all used to as developers. We are used to the fact that the data being shown is the data that was there when you made the initial request. Normies are not used to that. They get confused when they're on a page and the data is out of date. Not a problem here. Really cool. That said, I'm not going to pretend this app is pretty. It doesn't even have a homepage. Just very standard, boring components here. I don't even think they're using ShadCN yet. Oh, maybe they are for like the toasts, but not much. Like not for the buttons or the forms or anything else. They're really just hard-coded a bunch of class names inside of their Tailwind React components. But the code is totally readable and usable here too. It's good. A little heavy on the use states for my taste, but what React dev doesn't do that? Let's be real. Nothing here is sus. It's very simple, minimal code that allows you to have a full stack application. It's not going to make a pretty one. They might change that in the future, but honestly, I don't know if they need to. It's a lot easier for me to export this code base, throw it into my GitHub, throw it into Cursor, and tell it, make a pretty homepage, make a pretty form page. It's a lot harder to take something from V0, export it into GitHub, export it into my editor, and say, okay, make the backend work. It's really nice. And honestly, it's making me really appreciate the value of Convex more than I did before. The fact that all this functionality can just be a couple files, it's really, really compelling. And again, to show my attempts to do this in other places, oh look, the Party Planner app. Let's take a look at this project. I spent so long going back and forth here, trying to get it to set up auth in a way that worked using the Supabase integration, and we never could even sign in. Go to the sign in page. You have to sign up. We'll just do like test at t3.gg, whatever, lol, sign up. And if I go check my email quick, we got the confirm. And if we click it, watch where it brings us. Localhost 3000. That's not where we wanted to go. There is no way to sign in here. You understand the problem. How do none of the other options even have auth working? Meanwhile, Chef lets you create a whole database model, live updates, add file upload, and all the other things from scratch. Let's just add it. Allow for hosts to upload a banner image for their events. Somebody asked, does Chef have email confirmation? Yeah. I just signed it anonymously, but they integrate wonderfully with tools like Resend, so you can send out an email automatically with auth. Here it's updating the event form. Good old type checks. Honestly, one of the biggest benefits of all this is that Convex is fully type safe top to bottom. So if you make a mistake in the configuration of your schema or of your events, you'll get a type error. It's similar to why I built the T3 stack, because I wanted to get type errors if the database changed in a way that the UI didn't expect. I wanted the type errors to go all the way from schema to component. They wanted the same thing. They were heavily inspired by tRPC, and it shows at every level of what they've built. Yeah, now we can upload a banner image. Look at that. Click here, grab my live template. Sure. Now we can create events with images. Like, it's that easy. Do you know how hard it is to add file upload to any of these other tools, even if you're using something like Upload Thing? That's hilarious. If this existed when I started Upload Thing, I wouldn't have started Upload Thing. It's so cool. They also just did integration with Polar. You guys are familiar. Polar is a payment infra company that builds on top of Stripe to make it less painful to integrate Stripe. They're now working with Convex on Chef, so you can add payment systems. Allow for people to buy a ticket to the event using Polar. I haven't tried this integration yet, so I'm curious how it comes out. But the fact they even know what it is and can get this far already is nuts. I'm excited to see how it does with integrating this, because setting up payments is one of the most complex things in these apps. It's actually hilarious. You can build a groundbreaking web app in a few hours using these AI tools, and then you have to spend 2 days getting payments working, and you'll probably make a bunch of mistakes. I see people who are suspicious about all the abstractions that exist here. I would think about this the other way. Tools like Vercel are building really heavy abstractions on top of specific functionality in AWS. So like a lot of Vercel's product is reselling things like Lambda and Lambda at Edge, reselling CloudFront, building better ergonomics around it, but it's kind of one-to-one with what's built underneath. The thing that makes Vercel much more compelling is the stuff that isn't a one-to-one like that, like their crazy edge layer that runs between the Lambdas and the user so that they can spin them up dynamically and have more control for stuff like fluid compute. That's where Vercel stops being just an abstraction and starts being a unique infrastructure model that allows for things that weren't doable before. That's what I see with Convex. It's not that they're wrapping existing things. They're not just a Postgres wrapper. They're not just a Lambda wrapper. They are different primitives that are focused on really good integration with your developer environment rather than a dashboard where you do everything. It's a reset more than a rewrap, if that makes sense. The Polar SDK is a slightly different API than it thought it would, and now they're fixing it. Oh, I missed this button. I couldn't see it because my face is covering it. There's a little button in the corner here where you can switch to code only mode. And chat only mode too. That's cool. Okay, it's struggling a lot with these types. Might have to re-roll it. It got real far without this, though. And to be fair, Polar is the first thing that isn't Convex specific that we're integrating. Come on, no more type errors. I think I'm going to call this one failed. So it tried. But again, this is where these tools struggle. Once you're integrating third-party stuff, they tend to fall apart fast. Part of why V0 is so good is because Shadcyan literally works on it full-time as his job. Because of that, it can integrate it really well because the people building the tool deeply understand it, and the configuration is just code. Polar is built by a different company. The config, thankfully, is just code, which gives it an advantage, but doesn't mean it's going to get it right. And I guarantee all the other tools will fail here. Still excited that they have this partnership, but it's not quite good enough for me to say confidently, you can go add payments here. What other complaints do I have? Obviously, the UI that comes out here is ugly. It seems like they have their own way of measuring usage through tokens that is different from tokens on Claude. So if they're generating with Claude, a generation might take 500,000 tokens. They might mark it as 800,000 Chef tokens. Their own weird abstraction. I haven't looked into it much. I don't understand it. I did see some people complaining. I haven't hit any of those limits when I was on the free tier. I just upgraded to the pro tier. Still haven't hit any limits anywhere. So not a concern I have, just a thing that is definitely real. It's brand new. It's been out for a few days now. But I'm beyond impressed. The Instagram clone in particular was really cool. It has a global stream for photos. This is the type of thing you cannot build in any of these other app builders. If I go try in V0, you'll see what I mean. We got both of these building now. I'm not going to pretend V0 isn't prettier. It absolutely is. It's also been around for 4 times longer, more than that. It's been around for multiple years, and Chef's been around for multiple days. Honestly, my biggest takeaway is I need to get equity from these guys fast. I haven't invested yet, and I need to. Now that I can really see the benefit of the platform and the app builders, I'm very impressed. I know it hits type errors pretty often, but they are very useful for it. What is the type error? TSC failed. Oh, the query count method. Cool. V0 is still going as well. Oh, I specified convex storage in the prompt. Fuck me. I need to go rerun that without that because it's going to get super confused trying to integrate convex. Upload them. I'm just going to get rid of the word convex in that. Making sure it's not in there anywhere else. Cool. Stream tab. Cool. Reroll on that now that I removed the word convex from the prompt. I'll admit it's a little funny. It's hitting type errors on the example prompt from the site, but that shows they're not hiding anything from us. It also appears it's still doing the thing where it regenerates the whole file instead of hitting it in like an artifact mode so it can ship diffs instead. Come on, pass the type checks. Fuck, why'd it fail? Photo author name. This will actually be a pretty good showcase of this not being perfect. It keeps editing photo stream, but I think the problem is the schema. Oh no, it passed that time. Cool. Just need to give it a sec. Immediately on the V0 version, we hit a runtime error. Could not load the Sharp module using the dash runtime. Possible solution. This is a hilarious mess. We need a file store. We'll hit the create project connecting. Cool, connected. That was an error. Fix with V0. And now we have photo share on Convex. Let's try this quick. I signed in anonymously. We got to drag and drop photos. Let's find something fun. Let's just do a random silly Theo face. That drag and drop did not work. That's great. Add an upload, or add a clickable upload button below the drop zone. I don't know if the drop zone's broken because of how the CSS is set up in Convex or if it's broken because of the code that it output. So I'm just going to tell it to add the button so we know it will work. Okay, cool. Here we are on the V0 version. I'll drag and drop. Nope, that adds it to the chat. Because whenever you drag and drop here, it adds the chat instead. So we'll throw the live template for my stream. Cool. If I refresh, will it still be there? Nope. Because it's not persisting anything. It doesn't have a database, so it doesn't know what to do. I'm sure it's probably putting these up somewhere. But this is all client mocked. So even if it comes out and it looks all pretty like it does here, the data is not being stored. There is no auth. There is none of the other things that we need. Why do the files disappear when I refresh? It added the upload button. Now we can click that. Upload. The toast is very broken again. Ugly, but it works. And now we have this image uploaded. And if I refresh, it's still there. And what's even crazier is if I open this somewhere else, paste that in here. Nope, it's just broken. Okay, so this is a chef link, so it seems like it struggles with the connection there. Probably just a bug on their end. What I can do is add a preview or just deploy it. Let's just deploy it, see what happens. I went back to the V0 version, missing required environment variables. Okay, we'll just create an Upstash for Redis connection. Sure. Again, this is the thing with V0. You have to go integrate each service as you need it, and it will integrate it, and it might work, but having it all in one place is actually very nice for this particular use case. Cool, deployed. View site. Sign in anonymously. We already have that image. Sign in anonymously here. Now the magic happens. Upload photo. We're going to use the thumbnail for one of my recent videos. See how it appeared immediately in both just from that one upload? Notification's broken as hell, but that live syncing just being built in is so cool. It's so cool. I'm still not over it. Oh, try drag and drop. Good point. Let's see if that fixed the drag and drop. It did. That's so cool. That's genuinely awesome. Yeah, this is why I'm hyped. Oh God, you guys found the link. I'm gonna go take that down before I forget to. How nuts is that though? That you can literally prompt your way to an actual like live image sharing thing and it all just works. Now let's see how V0 did now that we have the global stream. Can I refresh and have it still be there now? Cool. I could manually tell it to go add auth, and it might work, but from my experience, it won't. It's gonna go add Supabase. So now we're gonna have our database on Upstash. Our auth, it gave options, but it picked next auth. Very stable library. How is it even going to store the data from auth, though? Is it going to put it in Redis? Where's it going to put that data? Whatever. Even if it works, it's going to be messy. You get the idea. I am very impressed with what Convex cooked here. Chef is the thing I would use if I was AI generating an actual application, and I would encourage giving it a shot if you haven't. It's very impressive what they built here. The future of these tools is super exciting, and I hope people like our friends over at Bolt, people like our friends at Lovable, V0, and especially Firebase Studio, because they are the ones that really should be doing this. I hope they all see the value of a back-end heavy tool like this, where it can build not just a fancy-looking UI, but an actual full-stack application. Thank you to Convex for listening to me bitching for the last however many months, almost a year at this point. Thanks for hearing out this idea and building something awesome. I'm pumped to be the smallest possible part, just bullying the CEO into making the product until he does it. I'm really proud to say I was right, and this is the correct place to be building tools like this. Let me know what you guys think. Until next time, keep prompting.